Hi and welcome. This is Eric, and in this video series we'll be discussing on how to generate data. Okay, in the previous video we saw to generate data in an Excel file and then in SQL. But what if we need a good amount of data? Okay, maybe 500 rows or 200. So this video we're gonna be discussing about that. So first of all, you need to learn something which is called SQL Server loops. Okay, and there are three kinds of loops. First one is while loop. We call that while loop, and while the loop condition is true, we will execute the code. So you're gonna put a statement while, and then you're gonna put your statement, and probably I'm gonna use that. And then as long as the condition is true, you're just gonna execute that statement over and over and over. Okay, we do have do while, works the same manner as the while loop, but the loop condition is tested at the end. So do and then while, and then we do have for, and I'll show you guys how to do that. For, by definition, this shall be used to run code inside the loop for the number of times you exactly know before this loop starts. So in for, you define maybe initial value count equals to 0 to 100, and then you put the loop over there, or you put to a statement, whatever you want to execute. It will execute exactly the number of that. Okay, so while loop, let's go in here. While loop, all it is it looks like this. I'm just gonna show you the way it looks. So for example, you wanna I'm gonna go ahead and comment these two here. Okay, and maybe I just write a loop here. So for example, why we're gonna be using this while loop. So do, you're gonna say do while. I'm just gonna put like a pseudocode. Here you're gonna put a statement. In SQL we use this as begin and end. So while. So you're gonna say execute this statement while your condition will be in here. Condition is true. While loop is just you start with while loop. I'm gonna delete this, and you're gonna put your begin, you're gonna put your end, and here you're gonna execute a statement. Okay, so let's see this in action. So we're gonna incorporate all these, and probably I'm gonna select MRN over here. That's why I wanted to do this. So I'm just gonna delete this. I'm assuming this is what we have. So if I say here select MRN, watch. So if I'm gonna execute once, it's just gonna generate one value. Once I'm gonna have to generate over and over and over. So I can use while loop to generate this number. So all I need here is to define maybe count. That count, I'm gonna be using this in my condition statement. Okay, and in here I'm gonna set count equals to, I'm gonna start with maybe I'll start with 0. So I'm gonna say count equals to 0. So watch here. So I'm gonna use my while loop in here to set these values. These are common values, that's why I don't wanna do them over and over and over. But in here I'm gonna say while, I'm gonna use my while loop now. While by definition, maybe I jumped so quick. I apologize about that, but I jumped into the types. But in short, it executes the statement over and over and over. Okay, so that's what's gonna write. So this is very powerful, and this is coming from a programming background. And then in SQL we do have the loops, but we use a lot in programming. Okay, so in programming, loops are the concept that enables us to write few lines of code and repeat them until the loop condition holds. Okay, and what's important here? The important thing is SQL Server implements the while loop, allowing us to repeat a certain code while the loop condition holds. Okay, if for any reason we need other loops, we can simulate them using while loop. Okay, and I'll show you guys later. And we rarely use loops in queries, okay, but they are very powerful, very useful, and they may make our life a bit easier, a little bit, or maybe a lot. So you shouldn't be using these loops if you don't know what you're doing. So just be careful. You can crash your computer if you end up having like an endless loop. Okay, so I'm gonna put here my while statement. So this will enable me to. So for example, when I do this statement 5 times, I'm gonna say begin, and my end loop gonna end here. Okay, and in here, what's the condition? I'm gonna say while count is less than. So let's say I want 5 records. I'm gonna say less than 5. This gonna go 5 times to execute. But guess what? This we set to 0. So always this number gonna be equal to 0. So if I execute this statement, you're gonna execute and execute and execute until when I stop the execution or my computer crashes, when the memory crashes. So all we need is to increment this number. It starts from 0. Then if it comes in down here, once we display the value, we can say, you know what, set count equals to count plus 1. So we're incrementing 1 every time. And to make it visible, we can say, you know what, display count 2. And you can give these names here. If you guys know about column areas, we can definitely do that. I'm gonna say this is row count. Okay, so if you don't know what a column alias is, please review my previous video. So if you execute this, watch, I'm gonna execute once, but you're gonna print 5 times, and this number gonna be different, and this number you can see it's increment, and you're gonna see 1, 2, 3, 4, and this is 5 because it started from 0. That's why. So when it gets to 5, is 5 less than 5? No, and then the loop exists. So if you want 10 records, it's just gonna change this to 10 and execute again. So if you are using this over and over and over in a function, you can change this as the upper limit, and you can put your limit or number of rows. You can put number of rows. So now we know this works here. So technically, I can use this statement here. Instead of displaying the value here, I know this generates this number. Instead of displaying, I'm gonna comment this. I'm gonna insert these values here. And let's say we remember we did have a couple of, how many values do you have? 8. So let's say I need 50 records. I'm gonna have to enter 52 more. So I'm gonna say this number equals to 52. And then at the end of the day, I'm gonna select here when everything is done, I'm gonna put this outside. If you put this inside, be careful. If you put it inside, you're gonna be selecting this over and over and over. So watch, you're gonna execute. That was fast, it's just blanked. Okay, if you take a look now, we do have 62 records. So these records, they've been inserted in there. Oh wow, that's really quick. Okay, you can see 60 records. It went through all these records were inserted in there. So if you want maybe 1,000 records, you can change this to 1,000 and it will execute. Now I'm gonna leave it here. My while loop is here. I'm gonna just make it smaller, and if you need this code, please, and let me save them. But please let me know, and I'll tell you where to get them. So I'm gonna say this is EHR generate SQL generate dummy data. Okay, so we used the while loop and it generated about 52 records here, and they're all inserted in here. Okay, so and you can see MRN is different. You can see that the time here, if you look at this, is different, and this is also incremental. So yeah, I was gonna display this. We saw the other query from the previous work from the previous video series. So all we did is added a count, and you can take a screenshot or you can copy and paste. Okay, so if you have any questions, just comment down. Next we're gonna go ahead and learn today we just generated we learned loops, different kinds of loops, and how to use them. And next we're gonna learn how to generate data in Power BI. Okay, thank you very much. Enjoy your day. Meet me on my next video series.